Photography for me is simply visual storytelling, and as human beings, we've been telling stories since way before there was the written word, the oral traditions that got laid down in ancient times. So we're just continuing, I think, as photographers nowadays, a very proud and long-held tradition, a need really for human beings to communicate and to tell the story of their times and their own story of their people or their tribe or their nation or whatever it might be. That's the role that a photographer fulfills. I'm a general assignment magazine photographer, which means that I've covered any number of topics, from science to news, sports and feature and celebrity and politics. Basically, I'm a very curious person. I don't like to be hemmed in by one particular type of subject matter, so I've really designed my career to be, an overall photographer. It was a class. I was a junior in college, and I felt like the camera was a natural thing to have in my hands, and all of a sudden I realized this is what I want to do. I grew up as a magazine photographer. I spent some time as a newspaper wire service photographer in the early going, but I've basically for my entire career been a magazine assignment photographer, and I've been blessed to work with some really wonderful publications, Life and Geographic among them. I'm the last staff photographer in the history of Life magazine. Let's face it, the technology of photography is such now that virtually anyone can walk into a camera store, buy a highly automated digital camera, walk out and start taking reasonable photographs. But the idea and the challenge of this field remains essentially the same since the very beginning of glass plates and ancient technology, and that is to be a good storyteller, make pictures that move people, that involve people, that emotionally cause someone to shift their position, that inform people, intellectually, provide information, provide moments of pictorial grandeur and beauty. The idea of just walking in, getting a fancy camera, and all of a sudden I'm a photographer, I don't subscribe to that too much. I think the best thing to do for any young aspiring photojournalist is to get a broad-based education, like a liberal arts education. Be curious about a lot of stuff, be informed about a lot of stuff. I think you need to be trained as a journalist, as a photographer who is out there doing significant storytelling. It's not something that just comes to you naturally. You have to have successes and failures. You have to have experience. You need editors who shape you and guide you and inform your conduct and also push you to become a better photographer. I am curious about lots of things. I enjoy people, and I'm always fascinated by what people do, who they are, how they make a living, what do they live like in their particular part of the world. So I think that's a very important component for any journalist, is to be curious and sympathetic to people. I've been successful on any level in telling the stories of my subjects. I am sympathetic to them, I'm curious about them, and also I feel I genuinely care about them photographically, so I try to do my best. I always understand that getting in front of a stranger's lens, is a vulnerable place to be, that area in front of the lens, and they're taking a risk. I don't fake it when I'm with someone. I do my research, I do my homework, I try to find out about their lives before I encounter them, so they feel like, okay, all right, this person is working hard to tell my story, to put my image out there, or whatever it might be. So I think it's a two-way street that you encounter always with your subjects, and I think if you meet them halfway, I think you'll find great success in what gets returned to you visually. Hi, I'm Joe Mcnally, and I'm a freelance photographer.